Good evening, and welcome to Thinking Re-envisioned with the incomparable Henry G. Noel, or as I like to call it, paving the way to your peace of mind. Here's Henry.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Transitional Radio, home of Brian Brody's Mortal Up and All Natural Being, IPM Nation's Sneak Speaks on Sunday evenings, and this, our 17th episode of Thinking Re-envisioned. My name is Henry Noel, and I am your host. Thinking Re-envisioned. We are here to make you think. We are here to make you question everything. I wish to thank you for joining me this Monday evening, where we will talk about how can we unify the human race, and is it even possible? And or whatever it is that you really want to talk about this evening. That'll be what's really important too. So we are broadcasting live this evening from our uplink studio in beautiful Cuenca, Ecuador, 2 degrees south of the equator, where altitude and our equatorial proximity makes UV protection serious stuff, man. We are broadcasting live on IPMNation.com and Thinking Re-envision's Facebook and YouTube pages. And so long as Brian has anything to say about it, let's put it that way. I wish to want to thank all the listeners from all over the globe listening on live radio, those listening to our rebroadcasts, and you, our fly on the wall video listeners. It's great to have you here listening in. Thank you so much. I'd also like to thank our good friends at Wirecast for making it possible for us to be broadcasting both live and globally. So thank you guys. To all of our listeners who wish to participate in this show, email me at henry@henrygnoel.com. It is my wish to present a show where everyone can be as actively involved as they want. Now, we trust that you've had an enjoyable Monday so far. And so let's get into the thread and let's say hi to everybody and see what's on everybody's mind and see if we can solve this big dilemma on this Monday evening. But first, I really want to wish to congratulate the thousands and thousands of personnel involved with the successful design, construction, the launch, the landing at 2:54 this afternoon of the NASA spacecraft InSight on the surface of Mars. InSight was launched on May 5th of this year. And it was on board an Atlas V401 launch vehicle from Vandenberg Air Force Base, their Space Launch Complex number 3 in the 3 East. It flew 484 million kilometers, 301 million miles. Congratulations to everyone involved in that endeavor. Now, that is mental right there. That is using the mental. So I want to thank everybody. Welcome to the show this evening. I'm going to run through here. Maria, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it. Joseph, thanks. Great to see your icon. I know Rita's there helping out. Thank you so much, sweetie. Really appreciate you. Let's see, Shane. Hey, Shane. Hi. Welcome. Thank you for being on. I appreciate you being here. Joseph. Yep, there you are. Rachel. Rachel, thank you for joining. It's great to see your icon pop up too. Thank you for being on. And don't be hesitate. Just jump on the thread if you feel like you need to. My brother couldn't be here without him. Thank you so much. And hi, Rachel. It's great to see you. Let's see. We've got Lovey. Welcome. It is great to see your icon. Thank you for joining. And Shane is there saying hi to Wayne. I love it. And it's there. We got it. And Marcia. Marcia, thank you so much for tuning in. Appreciate it. You and hubby. Love you guys. You're fabulous. And so, yeah, I wanted to see what's going on. I mean, my whole intention of the show, my whole intention of the writings that I'm working on have all been to get humanity back together, start to pull us back, to stop the hate, stop the prejudice, stop the discrimination, the racism, to stop the fears, and start putting ourselves together as a human race rather than what we have at the moment. And I get frustrated at times. I do, because I see the direction that everything seems to go. And the minute you think it can't get any worse, it just blows you away that something this ridiculous could actually happen. Hi, Alice. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you so much. So I was hoping that somebody has some magic solution out there what I do, and I spend so much time with the writing, and it all, of course, for me, it all makes sense. But there is a reality, and if it's humanity that's paying the price for the idiocy that we have in this world, um, my thing is to try to do what I can to reverse that, to change it. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to be beating my head against the wall to try to force a horse to drink water. But at the same time, I'm doing the effort that I can to have to do that. So if you have any suggestions or any ideas as to how we can actually go about changing humanity's direction, because I think it's extremely serious, and I think as humans, and knowing that we have children out there, we have grandchildren out there, and many great grandchildren. When you really look at it, it's very frustrating to realize that that there's nothing we can do. And again, here we can launch a vehicle 301 million miles and put it right where it was supposed to be, right at the time it was supposed to be, and they even have the vehicle communicating its own position in space, so that everybody knew exactly where it was. I mean, and it landed. It was traveling at 12,500 miles an hour, and within 7 minutes, they slowed it down to 5 miles an hour. And it softly touched down. It opened up. It fired up, and within 3 minutes, it had its first picture already taken. Uh, and we can't solve color. We can't solve fear. We can't solve discrimination. We can. I know we can. We just don't want to. And I think that may be the crux of the whole thing. And that's what concerns me. And that's why I wanted to get your opinions on this stuff, because to me, it's very important that again, I have a better understanding as to what's going on, even with the writings that I'm doing, and to understand the approaches that we really need to take. Dallas, welcome this evening. It's great to see you. Shane says, stop coddling every little whine and complaint. We've done this to ourselves. Yes, we have. You're exactly right. It's bad enough we're shooting ourselves in the foot. The problem is we're actually making the bullets and loading them in the gun and then pulling the trigger at our own foot. It's almost an Albert Einstein insanity definition. Joseph says you can only change what you can change. Start small and live by example. That's it. Thank you, Joseph. I appreciate that. You're absolutely on. That's all we can do. Shane says stop bending to every little whim that people have. And that's really it. John said, "Hey, how you doing, everybody? Hey, John. Hi, everybody, from John. In case you're not seeing the thread, it is really great to see you there, and thank you so much for tuning in. But yeah, I really am wanting. Of course, I'd love to see everything change. I'd love to see humanity have a chance and go in a different direction than what we have done. It would be great. I would love it. To me, that would be the dream that I could ever see. But is it going to happen? Again, I don't think it does, because people don't want it to happen, and that is the problem. Gerard, hello. How are you? Thank you for tuning in. Now, there's a blast from the past. How are you, sir? It's great to see you. Candace, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. We're talking about what is there any hope for humanity? Can we do anything to get humanity to unite rather than stay as divided as it is? Everything I've been writing and everything I've been working on has been to that point, was to bring everybody together. But is it falling on deaf ears, or is it simply just being disregarded completely? And the whole concept behind humanity is those that have the power and the authority don't want to get back together, and the people that are part of humanity just don't care anymore. Just are full of apathy. So just to see what's going to happen. Marcia says, every person that faces difficulties throughout their life. Despite our circumstances, we can choose to be better instead of being bitter. It's in our hands. You make the humanity better. You're absolutely right. Thank you, Marcia. You're absolutely right. We do. And we are the ones responsible. And we start with ourselves. I think that's really the key. We start with ourselves. If we can walk the talk, then we become the example. We set the example rather than be the example that everybody else is doing. So thank you. He says, I think we've gone beyond sensitive. Yes, we have. We have. The world's been. Joseph says the world has good and evil. I got to turn the volume down just a bit. Yeah, sad to say, but it'll never happen. Thank you, St. Candace, and I appreciate the blunt honesty. Thank you so much, because that's really what the whole goal of everything here. I mean, people that are trying to go through and self renew, people that are trying to go through and change their vibration. They're trying to correct things that are going on in the world, and they really can only focus on themselves. They really can affect change in themselves, but it seems like trying to change the world is one of those uphill battles, because I guess the old what was the old joke that how many people does how many psychiatrists how many people does it take to change the light bulb? One, but it has to want to change. Well, that's what humanity has to do. It has to want to change. It's got to want to do this change. And if it's not willing to do it and people are that hung up on everything, I don't see how it can happen either. John says humanity is great. It's the lie we call civilized society is what needs to die. And John, and I guess that's a very good differentiation between the two. Um, I throw it in as humanity because that's how I see society as humanity. But there are so many elements to it and so many branches and so many different convolutions that we have to deal with, and it's frustrating. It really is to do it. I'm not giving up. I'm going to continue to plug along and keep going at it. But to me, the bottom line is it is really a tough uphill battle to get people to just wake up and realize that this is not the way we have to live. We can do miraculous things working together, and the landing this today was a prime example of it. Couldn't have happened on a better day, and so to see it again, to be part of that, having been part of that industry, and to see that, it always excites me to pull off something that is like impossible. In fact, it seemed to be that was the requirement to be involved in aerospace. It had to be impossible. And when everybody said it couldn't be done, that's when we got excited and said, "Oh yeah, let's go. We can do this." And that's what I enjoyed about the industry. And they did it again today, so it was fabulous. Shane says it's on. It's on to focus on yourself. Yes, it is. To make anybody be like you, you can't force another to be like you and then get mad when they aren't. And that's absolutely true. And the objective isn't. The objective is to get everybody to wake up. Just give them an opportunity to wake up. Let them decide the direction they wish to go, what they really wish to believe in, what they really want to try to understand. And those that really do want to get into it, I'm happy to sit down and talk and really get with this. So that's really part of the key. Arita says it would be pretty boring if everyone thought that. Yeah, exactly. And that's why I love the confrontation. I love the conflict. I love the disagreements. I love the opposite sides of the coin because it helps me learn. I mean, I've said this so many times now. It helps me learn when somebody doesn't agree with me, because I get to see a different point of view. I get to see a different way of being able to deal with a problem, and I do enjoy that. To me, that's what makes life fun, at least for me on this realm. So yes, I do like it. To me, that is what I really prefer to see, and people don't have to agree with me. That's for darn sure. I mean, hey, who the heck am I, right? So it's to me, it's more important that the information is laid out. People can take it or not, however they want to deal with it. And so for me, that's what I really want to see happen: is take it or leave it, but at least just come to the point to realize we have a problem, that it's broken and it needs to be fixed. And I think that's, if we can just get to that point, that would be a major step right there if we could do that. So yeah, but again, anybody's got ideas what direction we want to go, how we'd want to push this. To me, it's important, and we have to just do that. Gina, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see your icon pop up. Thank you. Joseph says, or because it's there, or searching for God. Yeah, there is something that to that, very much so, Joseph. And I missed the one that you mentioned above there. Why do we do it? Mars explore, for money, colonization, resources, very possibly all of those. And the challenge is there. I mean, it's a great challenge. But yeah, of course, the resources, the potential resources, mining capabilities. I think also placing people up there to colonize and to see what it is to be in a different gravity situation and what that does with the human itself. Matt, welcome, Matt. It's great to see your icon pop up. Also, thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate what you guys are doing, and I was listening to the recording this morning about from last evening. Great concept, great idea, and I think that's phenomenal. So thank you, and I'm glad you guys are going to keep doing that and give us a tune in as to what's been going on during the week or what's planned for the week. So I think that's really something that will be a lot of fun for everybody. And what I'm talking about, folks, is at 7 o'clock on Sunday evenings, Matt and Brian are going to get together and do a show for half an hour, I guess, and discuss what is coming up on IPM Nation for that week. And the hosts, I mean, he's got a ton of shows on there, and so we can have people that have their shows being broadcast on IPM Nation can call in and be part of the show and talk about what it is that they're doing, what got them motivated. And I think it's going to be great. So it's called IPM Nation's Sneak Speaks. And it's going to be a fabulous concept, a great show. So congratulations, Matt. I think that's awesome. John says corporation. That's part of the problem. We're too lost in in all of the crazy stuff to realize that we create much more when we work together. You're right, and fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I love the FOMO. That's always great. Fear of missing out. Yes, you're absolutely right. Janice Meredith Tipton, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate seeing your icon. Thank you. But yeah, there's a lot of greed. A lot of the stuff dealing with is going to make somebody money, and of course that's the main part of it. It's the major evil we have in this world that we can't do anything about. We can't live without it. We need the finances and the money to survive. But yet it is our biggest stress. It's our biggest killer that we have, trying to earn enough money to survive, to live. And we have been taught so much how to spend money, and we have a government that is beautifully exampled on how to spend money. And so we follow suit, and there's the issue. So yes, there's not a lot of altruism out there when it comes to space exploration or for pretty much any corporation that's out there. There's nothing altruistic. A board of directors and stockholders in a corporation, they're not into the altruism. Let's put it that way. They're there to make a dollar. That's what they want. They want to make a buck. And so they're going to do what they need to make that buck. And if you understand that, that's fine. I don't accept it, but I understand it, and that is the way it is. But for me, I mean, the space industry has always fascinated me, even as a child. And to have been part of the space program, it was really very exciting, a time to live. Very stressful, but a very exciting time to live. And my brother was in the same business, so it was really very interesting too to have two of us in the thing. And then Shane being in the aircraft business, jet fighters, as was my daughter. So it really a lot of aerospace and a lot of aeronautical jobs going on and being done through our families. So it's always exciting when we actually can accomplish the impossible. It is just so wonderful. But yeah, I think, again, back to humanity, we're in a tough spot. We really are. The passageway is getting narrower and narrower, and it will get to the point to where there is no turning back. There is no reverse. We're stuck, and that's where I'm trying to get everybody to avoid. Joseph says, look at the past history. Why did Columbus sail to the New World? Why did the Pilgrims flee England and Holland? Very much the same. And persecution. Yes, absolutely. That is a major issue that we deal with today. Even today, you'd think throughout the course of history we learned, and this persecution, but the Pilgrims, World War I, World War II, it's persecution. People are not allowed to live lives that are just different than what the government wants us to live. I read an article just yesterday about a gentleman that was denied access to his property because it was off the grid. again, I don't. That is beyond my comprehension. Is where did the government come with all of that authority that somebody who lives on property that has a house that is self-sufficient, self-sustaining, and then he's denied access to his property because he's not paying electric bill or not paying a water bill. It's really hard. It's tough to wrap your head around that is the direction that we're going, and it's senseless. It makes no sense. I don't know how many states there are that do this, but I know New Mexico was one that is. You're not allowed. It violates law to collect rainwater. Go figure. This is the state that we're in. This is amazing. So anyway, yeah, it is hard. It'll get you angry when you realize the direction things are going. But for somehow they're getting this stuff passed, they're getting these rules put through. Nobody's stopping them. It's just amazing. And so, I mean, it's gotten down to where now, I mean, literally it's on the books. It's already a law. But if you grow your own vegetables in your garden and you share them with your neighbor, you are in violation of interstate commerce. And that is in the books. And they can do whatever it is that they do to people that violate interstate commerce. And the concept is because you're depriving some farmer someplace a livelihood. I'm sorry. Again, I'm not one for this. And so when Brian comes up and says, that Twitter I've supported it and I've pushed it, and this is how they're going to act, and now I'm enabling them to be the same way, to continue this. Yeah, I'm right with you, Brian, and I'm exactly the same way. I don't like the direction things are going, and if there's something we can do, something we can say, something that we can put together that actually will, gets the message out there, I'm all for it, because it's time. Candace says his city limits is the issue. The couple of acres bothering no one. See, and what's the difference if you're within the city or not? I mean, through the brown gas generators, the hydrogen generators that actually produce hydrogen and oxygen, split water down into hydrogen and oxygen, and both can burn, and and use that to produce energy. They have thermal couplers, thermal wafers now that you put them on a piece of black pipe running through where the sun has been baking on it, and it takes the difference in temperature from the pipe that's hot and the atmosphere that's cool, and it generates electricity. It doesn't have to go through the electric companies. So here they have developed so many different things that we can actually do to where we don't have to rely on the grid, but we make it impossible for you to live without that. And of course, they call it up to being safety and hygienic, and I totally disagree with all that stuff. It's just control. It's simply forcing you to have no choice but to buy and spend your money with a particular company for a particular service or a commodity, and you have no choice. And it's wrong. To me, it's absolutely wrong. So anyway, that's where we're going. Dallas says it would be in violation of every year with my garden. Yes, absolutely. And when we were in New Mexico, Dallas, we had gardens too. And that's exactly the problem. I'm not going to sit down and succumb to that. I mean, that's ridiculous. And if somebody needs food, I'm going to give it to them. So they can take their Interstate Commerce Act and do whatever they wish to do with it. And hopefully it hurts. Candace says, and a military man that knows how to survive, solar panels, etc. Exactly. Now they are saying mobile homes are not allowed. So, that's ridiculous too. That is crazy. I don't know where we go from here. I don't know where it goes and how it's going to make any difference or what it's going to change, but we're going to continue to plug along and continue to broadcast stuff until they, like Brian says, until they shut us down. And that's what we're going to do. To me, it's senseless to stand here and just complain about stuff without doing something about it. And I think that that's really what it is. And if it takes pushing the envelope, then we're going to push the envelope. And if it means saying something that some political official doesn't like, well, then we're going to say it anyway. And I mean, to me, we have the right to say it. We have the freedom of speech to some extent, and not as free as it used to be, because we can't hurt somebody's feelings now, And so we have to be very careful with that. Ridiculous, but that's it. I mean, the political correctness has gotten so bad and so far out of whack. We need to correct political correctness, and I think that's the direction we really need to go, and start pushing it back to where it makes sense, where people can actually live their lives the way they want to live them, and not worry about some homeowners association telling you can't paint your house purple. I'm sorry, it gets ridiculous, but it's all about the money, and that's really what they're doing, and that's why they're protesting. That's why they argue, because they don't want their values to go down. Interesting. But yeah, I think we're down to what, 3 minutes, bro? I guess. Just about. Okay, thank you, sir. But yeah, so like I said, any last minute comments you guys want to throw in there, please go for it. Let's do it. Candace says, well, we can't buy lettuce. I like it. Yeah, isn't that something? Amazing. That was the one thing that I remarked. Down here, and I'm going to use this just as an example. Here in Ecuador, we don't refrigerate eggs. We buy them. They're right from the chickens. We buy them from people that provide eggs. They are coated with guano, and we get them and we keep them on our counter and we use them during the course of a month. We don't refrigerate them. They're not washed until we get ready to use them. They don't have salmonella down here. They're just, people don't get salmonella poisoning. And here the United States is wash this, protect this, clean this, refrigerate this, and salmonella poisoning with eggs. We had the E. coli with lettuce. I don't know. That's why we're here. We don't have those issues here, and it's very interesting to see that this is what's going on in the United States, and with all of their rules and regulations and all of their requirements, and people are still getting sick from the food. Think about that. Just think about that. It's something's wrong. Something's wrong. It's broken, and so nobody's fixing it. All righty, we're getting close here. I'm going to thank everybody again for tuning into this evening. Thank you so much. Thank you for the thread. I really appreciate the comments. Everybody out there in radios, thank you so much. And email me any questions that you may have or any direction you want to go with this stuff, and give me suggestions as to how you want the shows to go. I'm going to keep doing my bit to get people to wake up and change, and I appreciate your assistance and your help. So again, tomorrow, same time, we'll be back on at 8:30 tomorrow evening. We'll be with Brian at 7 o'clock. And so 8 o'clock, I'm sorry, I said 7 o'clock. So Brian at 8, me at 8:30. And I hope you guys join us, okay? So till tomorrow, hasta luego. Have a great evening.